Hi, I'm Catherine Pinkerton, and here are some facts about me. I come from a pretty large family. I'm one of four children, including a twin sister. The bottom left picture shows one half of our family at our wedding. Like to think some good Irish Catholic roots. I am not related to the Pinkerton Security Agency or any Pinkertons that live in Beaver County. My husband and I married 3 years ago in Dallas, Texas, and we have adopted one fur child, Henry, who has us wrapped around his paw. And here he's trying to help me with my schoolwork, but I think he's just fulfilling his 18 hours of napping a day. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas, so I'm a city girl at heart, but oddly enough, my favorite places in the world are two very small towns you've probably never heard of. Abbott, Texas, which is about 45 minutes north of Waco. There's about 300 people that live there in the hometown of Willie Nelson. And I spent a lot of time on the farm there growing up and still go back every year. And then Bay St. Louis, which are the bottom two pictures, in Mississippi. My mom's family is from there, and we usually spend July 4th. And here, just time slows down, and the best method of transportation is usually golf carts and dune buggies. And then we have a big family picnic every year, and I have a reputation for racing on the slip and slide against anyone my own size, which tends to be 10-year-old boys. I should probably grow out of that habit sometime soon. I have moved around quite a bit the last, pretty much throughout my life. Once I went to college, when I first heard about Dayton, I thought it meant Dayton, Texas, not Ohio. And I ended up in Ohio. And then since my graduation, I have worked for the same employer, United States Gypsum. We make sheetrock in the manufacturing industry. And I'm currently an operations manager for a line in Aliquippa. I moved after graduation to Jacksonville, Florida, where I met my husband. And then we lived in Dallas, Cleveland. Wasn't a huge fan of Cleveland, but we have since settled in Pittsburgh and closed on our home here a couple of weeks before the shutdown for the pandemic. But we have really enjoyed it here and hope to stick around for a while. Like I said, I went to the University of Dayton. I have a civil engineering degree, graduated about 10 years ago, and met many friends there, and have continued to meet people as I've stayed active in the alumni groups throughout the cities we lived in. I'm in the final stretch of RMU's MBA program, and although that's not necessarily maybe a fun fact, but pretty active part of my life for the past couple of years, and look forward to finishing this summer. My husband and I love a good renovation or do-it-yourself projects. And, we've done everything from making our own candles and wreaths, furniture, to last year we did a 4-month project where we had to remove asbestos and ended up finding the original floors that were about 120 years old in our home, and have also uncovered 3 brick walls in our house, which was pretty cool. So keeps us busy when we move to new cities and we don't know anyone yet. As we bounced around to different cities, I traveled a lot just to see friends and family, but the last couple of years, I have discovered a website called Scotch Cheap's Flights, and it has allowed us to travel very inexpensively, domestically and also internationally. So on the top left is Lisbon, Portugal. The top right was Jackson Hole, Wyoming, where we booked it about 2-3 weeks in advance and took only a backpack. And then the bottom picture is Helsinki, Finland, which was the same scenario a couple weeks ahead of time, and we went with only backpacks. And that whole trip, I think, was cheaper than one of our Thanksgiving flights home. So it's pretty adventurous. We go to places that were never even on our radar. Definitely have a more local experience, going to grocery stores and, not staying in hotels or resorts or anything. But it's been a lot of fun and definitely opened our eyes to other places and other cultures the last few years. Running runs in my family. I started pretty young, mostly just to stay active with other sports. I completed my first half marathon when I was 14 and then a full at 19, and ran throughout college and um, continue to run. It's a little bit harder to be consistent at running living in the north where there's snow and ice and freezing temperatures. And for a southern girl, it just doesn't always mesh or get me excited to go outside. But we do a lot of indoor cycling, and then hiking. And that bottom picture is hiking the Rachel Carson Trail a couple years ago. I am a huge bookworm. I've always loved reading. I usually can't read while I'm in school because I'd much rather read my book than read chapter 2 of a textbook. But anything from the classic authors like Danielle Steele and Tom Clancy to some of the newer authors, Stephanie Meyers, Harlan Coben, J.K. Rowling. I am a big Harry Potter fan, but love reading, and I've started using the Goodreads app to track my books because I am starting to repeat some things. The last fact I'd like to share is my husband is a huge baseball fan, and since we've been together, I've become much more invested. Growing up in Houston, obviously an Astros fan, and he's a Tampa Bay Rays fan, which makes for a fun playoff time the last couple of years. We are trying to get to every stadium. We've been to 13 stadiums so far. Denver, Detroit, Dallas. Our favorite one was the Texas Rangers old stadium that they no longer use. It is beautiful if you ever have a chance to see it. And this season, we're hoping to head to the East Coast and maybe see Philly, New York, and Baltimore. So that are some facts about me. Some fun, some just fast facts. And I look forward to working through this course and learning from all of you.